with Jenni and Jenni. This is the Noonas podcast with Jenni and Jenni.
Dual set.
Heart to heart. Noonas podcast Amida.
Welcome back to the Noonas podcast. It is your host, Jenni, and as always with my co-host, Jenni.
Hello.
And we are back once again with another episode of the Noonas podcast. I think we have a very short podcast this week. I mean, compared to what we've had.
Our greeting didn't feel like so exciting. Like, I do this podcast and we die. I don't know what's with us lately. I don't know what's over us.
Those Wikipedia sessions, I think, just took a lot out of us. I don't know.
I guess.
That and just like we had so many comebacks in like March and April here. Like I think we just hit a wall and we're just like, oh my God, are we done yet? Which, I mean.
Yeah, we need a break. Not saying, let's end this podcast, but just have a vacation.
We just need a bit of a summer vacation, maybe, kinda. Yeah. Who knows? But I mean, there's still kind of stuff out there. There's still stuff coming out there. I mean, there's still music coming out and there's still news happening. I mean, like I said, this is probably a bit of a shorter episode this week for you guys. Recording a little bit earlier, so we're not going to have any Kingdom stuff this week because the episode has not aired yet this week when we're recording.
And plus, the performances are not the complete, set yet. It's only just half of the groups, yes. And then the next week is just the next half. So we won't get a full perspective on our impressions and who's performance out of everyone.
Yeah, we've only seen half of the groups perform. We've only seen SF9, I'm trying to think, SF9, Boys, and Icon, which I have opinions, which I'm sure Jenni's saw when we were doing our group watch on Sunday when we were hanging out with some other friends of mine. We were talking on that on Sunday, but we don't have the other three groups. BtoB, Stray Kids, and ATEEZ don't perform until tomorrow, so we won't see their covers until then, and then we'll get a full idea of how round two will finish up. So we will push that off to next week's episode, but this week at least we do have two comebacks we're going to talk about this week. One really, really highly anticipated rookie comeback, their first comeback with Enhypen, and their first official comeback with Border Carnival, and then another comeback this week with a repackage with On and Off, who just had their first full album. I think they had their first full album, that was about 2 months ago, I think. With My Name Is.
Months. Yeah, it's been.
With My Name Is. And now they just came back with repackage with City of On and Off. So we're going to get into those this week, as well as a bit of a follow-up news story this week. We talked about it a little bit with our Wikipedia session with BtoB regarding Ilhoon's weed charge. He did finally go to court on that. So we're going to follow up on that this week and just kind of some of the fallout from that. As well as some other news regarding another comeback coming down the road come May regarding possibly the biggest group in the world. And we'll get to that. I think we'll talk about Enhypen because they're all kind of under the same label. And we'll get into discussion about, I think, BTS and TMABI together in Enhypen because it's going to be a mess at Hype come May, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be an explosive week of almost a blockbuster level of a comeback in K-pop.
Yeah, the month of May is going to be insane over at Hype. I'm not going to lie, between right now obviously with Enhypen, considering it's Hype, but it's under Hype, but they're under a subsidiary of Hype, and then obviously BTS, and then TMABI together supposedly having a comeback too, but we'll get into that when we get into that. So, but I mean, it's just it's going to be, wait till we'll see what happens towards the end of May on top of the whole McDonald's thing too with BTS.
Yeah, good luck to the people who hate BTS, but they're working in McDonald's.
Oh.
I'm gonna be listening to a lot of like the songs, and like a lot of the fangirls are on their way.
Oh gosh. I pray for the people. Like I feel like the people who really hate BTS who are working McDonald's are just gonna hate them even more now because of just the.
It's gonna be a massive exodus of like people quitting in McDonald's.
I heard there are people actually literally applying to McDonald's because they want the freaking T-shirts that they're going to get to have to wear. Yes, like there are people literally applying to work at McDonald's because they want the T-shirt. I don't look at me. I don't know. People are stupid. I wouldn't do that. I'm not that crazy. Guys. But this is what I've heard.
Maybe, hopefully.
I'm not that crazy. Don't look at me like that.
Excuse me.
Don't look at me like that.
Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
How dare you compare me to?
I ain't that crazy of a fan. But I mean, all the other possible rumors. I know people are still like, there's a huge rumor going around that there might be photo cards with the meals, which is.
I hope so. I hope so. And that's one way for me to like go to McDonald's. I recently went to McDonald's and I was kind of like thinking about like the BTS and like the upcoming merchandise they're gonna be like promoting in there.
I know. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, I just go through the drive-through all the time as if I remember going in there, and I'm like, wait, I'm actually have to step foot into a McDonald's now just to see the cardboard cuts of BTS. And then I'm like, oh God, there's a 30-year-old woman thinking about this. What am I?
Just imagine how many girls are gonna be like touching all over like the cardboard. So you're gonna need to have like a sanitizer for that.
Yeah,
it's all gonna be like wrinkly at the end of the day. Like,
yeah, I just thought of that and calm the world down. Nope. Okay, nope. Okay, we're gonna move on. Let's just move on to these album reviews where like it's weirder. I'm loving it. I don't know.
We're over it.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. Like I said, the whole McDonald's thing doesn't happen until like the end of May. So let's wait to see how this happens. Also, I'm waiting to see if and when these commercials come out for this, because there's going to be commercials on television, and I'm just waiting to them to annoy the hell out of my boyfriend. So especially if they start playing Dynamite. Because they probably will.
I think they're going to be playing like Butter, I guess. I think because it's coming out the right time.
Maybe.
Maybe another song for him to hate because the thing's going to be overplayed. I'm pretty sure.
We'll find out. We'll find out. But let's get into these album. Let's get into these album reviews this week. Let's get started. We'll talk about Butter here in a little bit. But let's get started this week, I guess, with BTS's label mates at Hype, I guess, with Enhypen. And like I said, their first official comeback, because again, Enhypen's a rookie group. We talked about their official debut back in November. God, it's been November, and they've been, and this is another. They've been
kicking it. Yeah, they've been doing well for themselves. I think it's thanks to I guess like their connections with like other groups like BTS and Tomorrow by Together. I think that kind of helped them a bit too.
I think that, and they've been just doing really well with promotion and stuff too. They have a reality show on YouTube, on Mnet, and it also airs on YouTube called Enhypen and High. I've been watching that. That's actually really fun. They've been really, really good about promoting on social media and stuff too. So yeah, with their second mini album, their first official comeback with Bored or Carnival, I mean, they outsold themselves in terms of like a rookie group. They pre-sold like over almost 500,000 albums before it came out, which is insane. It's an insane number for just a rookie group to pre-sell that many albums. Because that's a huge number. So I mean, this was a highly anticipated comeback, and whoa, I think they delivered on this one. Like,
Yeah, I think they delivered, really well with their title track, which is "Drunk-Dazed." It really drove into like a really upbeat, but very alluring type of sound. Since they're still continuing with like their vampire concept, and they're like like continuing their narrative of them as as these kinds of characters. So
Yes.
it really takes you like into their lore more.
Yeah, I mean they're really establishing this lore, this universe that they're creating super well. Which, oh god, guess what? Jenni's gonna get sucked into another AU, guys. Get ready.
No, oh no!
I'm sorry, you give me anything with supernatural elements in it, I'm gonna be a sucker for it. So, and this like
meanwhile, I'm making my own like head canon, or like some kind of like a parody, instead of like following like the stories. No, I'm doing my own thing. You leave me out of it.
No, I mean, I'm not as crazy as some of the people. I'll have to get into some of the crazy theories people were coming up with the music video later. But let's get into the album. We'll get into the music video later. Because I think the album itself, I think, is pretty solid. Like, it kind of continues the same structure as Border Day 1, which I guess this is the end of the Border series. So this is kind of the end of their like introduction series of themselves. And I guess the next one's going to be a new era for them, from what I've heard. So they have that intro and that outro track, which, I mean, the intro track, intro Carnival, picks up immediately right where the outro of Border Day 1 left off, like into that whole like carnival, into the carnival, and this really kind of creepy, like psychedelic, it's very psychedelic, like I'm like almost kind of like felt like M83-esque, like very alt indie rock, trippy.
Yes, of course,
track. And then into Drunk-Dazed, which is just a hell of a club banger of a song, but it's just like it's like it would win so hard. Like, I was not expecting it to go so hard, but it did, and in the best way of a song.
Yeah, what I thought about like the thing, I really appreciate that they were still being consistent with like the structure, like how they composed like the album, because how they a lot of like K-pop groups have like the intro outro, but them it tells like a story, and it has like a really atmospheric and almost like a tradition, like a tradition, but almost like an old-timey like setting that they're setting up with this, because like they're like it turned like age very ancient but youthful looking vampires, but they have like this really creepy, very eerie feeling that I've heard from like the outro, even from the music video from Give and Taken, like because they played that like a bit of the track in there. And like later when it transitioned into more of like that atmospheric, like very transcendental sounds, it kind of reminds me of like a lot of British pop and rock music, because like I was like listening to it, and it's like that feels very British, like the way it's produced. It kind of reminds me of like some of the bands that I've listened to, like Gorillaz, like with their usage of like the spoken word and this really like very electronic beat, or like like instruments into it. Like, that's what it reminds me of. Like Gorillaz from like their Demon Days album, and even a bit of like their later ones with their Humans album. That kind of reminds me like, oh, this feels like something that reminds me of Gorillaz in a way. And even when they went to their Drunk-Dazed track, it kind of reminds me of like the British their new wave era back in the 80s, because it kind of reminds me of like the fast beat but really dark tone with Blue Monday by New Order, because that's how it reminds, like, oh wow, it feels like very New Ordery, and feels like it's something that you would like listen, like dance into, like the the rave scene and like British clubs. So like, wow.
And it kind of, it fits the title, like Drunk-Dazed. It really fits the title of the song itself, because you really do feel like you're on edge the whole time. Like, it's very dizzy, very disoriented. Like, you really have like super like what's going on, what's happening. Like, you do feel like you're drunk when you're listening to the song. It just kind of has that super like what's going on kind of feel to it, and it can like, it just feels super right. Yeah,
it's like it keeps you on the edge, but all this at the same time, it's like such a hypnotic rhythm into it, like in the sound into it. So it's a good balance that they're able to produce there.
Yeah, it really is a good balance. Like it flows just right throughout the whole entire song. Like just the driving beat throughout it too. Like it just keeps you going throughout the whole thing, and it's just how and just the whole time through. Like it's a song. Like I think it's just gonna be a hot song throughout the whole entire summer. It just feels like it's going to be like one of those like really, really popular songs like throughout the whole entire summer, because it has that kind of feel to it for me.
Yeah, I agree.
So
yeah, and at the same time, like like when things die down and then people can like go back into the college, just like wait until like when they play that song and all of a sudden like the like showers of like blood starts like pouring over.
do we want to discuss the music video? Do we want to? Because wow, the music video, which one has actually been banned on a channel in Korea, is actually banned on KBS.
Oh, seriously?
It has not because of the blood, but because of the alcohol, because quote unquote alcohol references, supposedly. Because they're drinking out of like glasses and stuff, but it's not like because it doesn't look like wine, but it supposedly looks enough like wine that they had to ban it, even though it's already rated like TV 15. So KBS banned the song.
And I've seen like kids or like I guess like teenage like demographic who like have a setup of a house party in some music videos. They kind of have like the same setting, but like also like they drink punches, but to have like a more kid friendly thing. So I'm kind of like perplexed to why. Yeah, like in Korea, I get in Korea they're more conservative with their media, but I don't know. I didn't think of like wine or like alcohol. I think of like some kind of like kid punches that they were like drinking, laced with kind of with some blood in there. But I don't know, that looks like a punch to me.
Well, no, you think like the whole reason if the music video would get banned is because I don't know, the blood raining from the ceiling parts where Sunghoon dancing in the blood. Like you would think that might have gotten it banned on the channel in the first place, but I guess not. Oh well, unless like they didn't have a reason, they just pinned it on the glass where I don't know. But anyway, but yeah, I mean, it's the music video kind of does like it really kind of is establishing like this whole like universe. It's kind of continuing this whole universe that they're establishing. Obviously, we said Enhypen's concept is vampires, like, and they're really going hard with this vampire concept, which thank you for sticking with it. And
hopefully they're not like EXO where they just like kind of lose a bit of like the concept of them as like superpowered individuals, but kind of a bit, but
I appreciate the group of keeping up with the concepts, aka ATs keep up with pirates, TXT keeping up with this whole like D&D-esque magic universe that they're keeping up with theirs. Enhypen with vampires, which I will say there is apparently, according to the music video, supposedly this might be tied in with TXT's universe. And there might be talk. There might be talk about this might be overarching with like a whole like Hype universe overarching thing. I don't think it's tied in BTS's universe.
I was like looking at it, I was like, okay.
I don't think it's tied in BTS's universe.
Now we're gonna.
Sorry. That is separate. No, if you look at the beginning of the music video, the notebook, where they left it on the bench where the invitation was. Yeah. Same notebook as in Tomorrow by Together's Runaway, the same blue notebook. So
dang, the K-pop industry is like doing their own like friggin' Marvel universe or DC universe.
So, I also appreciate too the music video.
Next thing you know, it's gonna be like another like a super group under Hype.
You never know. There could be. Hype might.
Hey.
SM did, for crying out loud. So
yeah.
Also too, I mean, there's magic in TXT's universe, so why the hell would there not be supernatural creatures in that universe too? I mean, it makes sense. You have vampires. You would now have werewolves in this universe too, because you had K and EJ make a cameo from Island. So
which could be lead to some speculations. Maybe they might have some like a new group.
Well,
that's gonna have like a werewolf. Maybe I don't know.
Okay, K and EJ are actually supposed to be part of Hype's new Japanese boy group. Well, along with three other members who are from Island, Nicholas, Kumin, and Taki. So they're supposed to be debuting later this year, and we've known about the Japanese group for a while. And now everyone's like, wait, is this a werewolf concept for them? I'm like, guys, they wouldn't really do a werewolf concept, but who knows now? Also, I do have a theory. I really do think Sunu killed K in the music video. I have a theory because like there's no way. I feel like he killed him in the music. Like I'm super super sure. Like I swear to God, Sunu, even though he's like the ball of sunshine in the group, like in this universe, I think he's evil. He's super super evil. Don't ask. I just have this big gut feeling right now. Anyway,
Okay.
don't ask.
Well, I was like, I'm just actually learning about like the names too. I'm trying to like memorize their faces because I'm kind of like doing some like offside like project. Stay tuned, but I'm just like kind of like memorize their faces. Like okay, because I was like looking back at their old video from like Give and Take, and then now
right
days and trying to like see like their like the labels of them. It's like okay, sure. Think I'm getting used to who they are.
Yeah, getting used to patchy faces with the names. I know. I still get confused with Heesung and Sunghoon. I'm so sorry, you too. I'm so sorry. The rest of them pretty good with actually matching faces and names, but yeah.
Jake, or like Sunu Sunghoon.
Yeah.
And then the only one that I know is Nikki.
Our Maknae Nikki. Which I can't Nikki's too young. But
yeah, it was like the youngest.
He's
young. What is he?
He's like 15. He's young.
Same age as my cousin.
It's like 15 or 16. I know he's a baby and he's in here vampiric and all shit. But yeah. No, I mean honestly, like I said, this album is before I go further into Enhypen AU theories, because I could, and there's only 2 videos, so don't get me started on this road. But
Too late.
Stop. But I mean, overall, I think the album is really, really good. I think they really are establishing themselves as like a different sound from other groups in the 4th generation. Kind of like we talked about last week with P1 Harmony. Like they're not relying on that noise sound. My one complaint is they sound a little maybe kind of like TXT. Like they kind of have a similar sound to TXT. A little bit.
A little bit, because that's what I said about like when during their debut track with Give and Take. Like the chorus line kind of reminds you of like BTS's sound because of like the high pitch that Jimin would have done. So it kind of reminds me of like 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 a Jimin like Jimin falsetto. Yeah. But other than that, I think they're being able to branch into like their own identity as well. Haven't listened to too much of like TXT, but I'm glad that they're having their own sound. Yeah. Like I can like recognize like, oh, that's an Enhypen,
I think
an Enhypen thing.
Once we get further along, I think there's definitely like there's definitely some parts I'm like, okay, this is definitely Enhypen, this is definitely Enhypen. I think once we get further down the road, like this will definitely be like, oh, this is pure Enhypen. So I mean, it's only album number 2 for them, so but I have a lot of really, really, really like positive, like I know Hybe, I have a lot of faith behind Hybe of what they're doing with them. And I mean, with Belift too, like I have a lot of faith behind what they're doing with them and going forward with them. I do also shout out one of my other favorite tracks on this album, besides obviously like the atmospheric like intro and outro tracks, has to be Mixed Up. I kind of do like them kind of do this more hip hop vibe at the end, towards the end of the album. It's really, really good.
Yeah, same here. It's I think Mixed Up out of all like from the title or the intro outro, Mixed Up is my favorite B-side from them.
Yeah, so I really highly recommend you go listen. If you listen to a B-side from this, go listen to Mixed Up. But yeah, it's a really solid album from them. Really, really worth it. I can't wait to get my hands on it because I did pre-order this one, so I can't wait to get my hands on it next week. It just got my alert today that it's on its way, so can't wait to get my hands on this one. But this is a really, really solid album. Like again, between P1 Harmony and Enhypen, like these are some solid first comebacks from these groups, and
and from like fourth gen groups, so there's a lot of like good faith with these younger
groups.
Younger groups. Cool. And the young blood. Oops, I didn't mean. Sorry, I didn't mean that. Like that was the pun.
Sure, you didn't. Sure.
No, that was accident because I was planning on something else of a joke, but I didn't like recognize like young blood. Oh.
Yeah.
Never mind. I really hope that for me personally,
Mhm.
like they continue with like that British because I think I really like the, kind of really fits them British like pop rock sound or the new wave sound.
Mhm.
I think it really fits with their concept, and I kind of hope that they still do like a more of like a goth rock type of sound
Mhm.
as well. I'm kind of waiting for them to see if they can like do that.
That would,
I imagine that they would be able to pull that off.
I think so, especially with some of the atmospheric choices they've been doing with the music videos. I could kind of see
Yeah.
it in some of the styling with them, like those more royal Prince look too. Because one of the stylings
Mhm.
in the photo books is more Prince like, especially one of the scenes in the music video.
Yeah.
They're dressed like princes. I think they could definitely tap into that. That would be really cool to see them play with that. So I'm hopefully that'd be cool in the next album. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what else comes from Enhypen, and I'm looking forward to see what comes in this comeback era for them. But I mean, thankfully they're coming back now because again, their label mates at Hybe, BTS just announced this week that they're coming back with a brand new English single. Yes, they're coming back again with another full English
Again.
single again. Dynamite Part 2. No, I'm kidding. It's not Dynamite Part 2.
Or like getting the Grammys Part 2. Oops. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, they announced that there is a new single from them coming on May 21st called Butter, which they creatively question mark announced by having a countdown of literally a animation of a stick of butter melting into the shape of a heart with the BTS logo on it, which I'm not going to lie, about 600,000 people literally watched that with cooking ASMR for about an hour. I may or may not have been one of those people, or I wasn't watching to it, I was listening to the ASMR, but I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of nice having the ASMR in the background.
I found this teaser out I found this teaser out, late because someone was like mentioning it, and then I checked like the logo like teaser, and it's just like 1 hour. What I did, I clicked on it, see I saw the beginning, and then skip right at the end and see how it ended up.
Yeah.
Like, oh, seriously?
That's all it was. It's because like all of a sudden, like I have a Discord chat with a bunch of other BTS and other Kpop fans other Noonas I talk to, and they're like, oh my god, there's something happening, and then we were talking about it, and it was just hilarious because like everyone was like, wait, is this related to McDonald's? Wait, is this really what's going on? Because everyone was like freaking out, like what was happening, like what was related to. But yeah, it's a new English single from them. So, and they just dropped the comeback promotional schedule, like the leading up to like all the concept photos and stuff, like the schedule for that coming up to it today. So we're gonna start getting all the concept and teasers and stuff in the next week, starting to roll out here. So, and it's gonna drop on a Friday, midnight Eastern Standard Time. So. Yep, we're going to get another Friday release from BTS, so stay tuned.
Yeah, because again, I think they're really appealing. They're really trying to appeal with like the Western. The Western and the North American audience too.
Yeah,
which I'm kind of like not questioning, but like there's the question.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are they getting really like close, or are they getting really into like I guess like very getting adapted into like the North American way of like music? I think would they be more associated with like American labels now, or do you think there'll be like a way for them to not a way, but there will be a time for them to go back, not really go back, but like go back with like their K-pop roots or Korean roots. Trying to see if they want to promote right now in like Korea right now.
I don't know, that'd be interesting to see. I mean, I wonder, because I mean the thing is with BTS is they haven't really promoted in Korea. The last thing they promoted was Map of the Soul 7, because the last time they were ever on a music show was for On, when they promoted On, like just as COVID hit, because they didn't promote Dynamite on the music shows. They didn't promote Life Goes On. Not that Life Goes On really had choreography. It was just them sitting. I would think with this English single, they're probably not going to promote this in Korea either, although they're still probably going to get music show award wins because it's BTS. Because Dynamite was getting wins for like weeks and weeks and weeks later.
Months later. Months. It's been
poor Subin. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. I would love to see them kind of go back to the music shows, because like I kind of liked seeing like the different outfits and stuff, and like seeing those performances. But I mean, it's a whole different ballgame for BTS now. So it's really hard. I mean, I don't know if it's in their new contract or not, like, because I mean, they are in this new contract with them just now with the new 7-year contract. So I don't know if it's in their contract, like the stipulations or what, if they have more control of what their promotion schedule's like, what's going on. Like, I don't have any, I'm not privy to that information, obviously, but obviously we'll see what happens with Butter. We don't know what kind of song it's going to be really yet until we start getting ideas like with the concepts and the teasers and stuff, but we'll find out, I guess.
Yeah. And something that like raises like an interest in me because I think, some people, I know like people are already knowing about like BTS, but other like people, they're like kind of like losing interest because I don't think like they're appreciating that much of like the new sounds that they're like they're doing with BTS, because they used to be like a hip hop, like a really hard edge hip hop group, but now they've evolved into like something like brighter and poppier. Do you think there'll be ever like a way for them to, I guess, like change like their music? Because I get it, like a lot of artists or groups, they would eventually evolve into something else, into another like style or another sound. We had it with the Beatles, because they used to be like like a regular rock and roll group, but when they started going into like the more psychedelic, and people are like, I'm not really feeling into this until years later they like grew to appreciate their sound. So I wonder, with BTS, they think that is like the same for them? Do you think they'll be adapting to a new sound, or they'll still stick into like the really poppier, like disco sounding thing?
See, that's interesting too. I hope like Dynamite was just like a one-time thing with the disco, because I mean that we've had this whole like retro craze as of late, especially with like the whole disco pop thing, especially last year with 2020. I think we just had a lot of retro feelings because I think we're stuck inside with COVID. I mean, obviously there was a big change with BTS from like 2014, late 2014, 2015, when they did Most Beautiful Moment era, and they went, came away from like hardcore hip hop for them into this more like melodic, poppier sound that still has some of their hip hop roots in it, but it was a little bit more pop. It wasn't much like, I guess it was poppier, but it was very different from what they had. And at that point,
really
they did lose
electronic, I guess.
Yeah, but they did lose fans at that point. They did lose some of their original fans who were more hip hop heads, because it's like, oh, this isn't what they, this is what I wanted at that point. But they did gain more fans. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, they've gone back and they've had some hip hop-esque tracks. Like, we do have stuff like Ugh, and some of the stuff on SoundCloud, like Dang, which is one of my favorite tracks, one of their tracks that's, unreleased because it's on SoundCloud. But I really do want them to go back to more of their like hip hop roots, because I do like that stuff. I'm not gonna lie, like Dynamite, as much as like it's everywhere, I'm like, I kind of want to go back to more of like what they had previously, like stuff with Love Yourself era-esque, almost like Wings era-esque stuff. Most Beautiful Moment era, like those are my eras. Like this previous era wasn't like my jam really. So maybe that's why I kind of fallen off a little bit in terms of like my like hardcore love for BTS. I mean, I still love BTS, but that's why like I've been like super hardcore into like ATEEZ and Stray Kids and other groups right now. Because like that's been my jam. So
yeah, as much as I really appreciate that like BTS really like paved the way for me into my journey of K-pop. At the same time, I'm getting into getting really into other like fans of other like groups such as NCT, Stray Kids, and even ATEEZ. So well, we'll see. BTS is still striving on their own, which is still a good thing.
Yeah,
and it would be a really great opportunity for them now that the whole world knows how they sound like and who they are. It'll be a good opportunity if they can like show them like their other side. Like yes, we do hip hop. Yes, we can go hardcore. So maybe they can introduce them more into that side. That would have been like a great promotion, or a great like way for them to present themselves differently.
I would like them to do something kind of hardcore-esque, like almost going back to something like Mic Drop or something like that, that's a little bit more hardcore for them. I guess more hardcore for them now than to pose something like debut era BTS. But I'd love to see them go back to something like that, but we'll see. I want something a little bit more aggressive, I guess, from BTS.
Yeah.
I guess for lack
I
of a
mean,
better term.
whatever they do right now is like, I think for them nothing can go wrong.
Right.
And without support or not, they're still winning,
Yeah.
man. They're still winning.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I know I'm just kind of sitting here like, I just want to go hardcore.
Right.
I just want to like, yeah.
I want my hip hop.
I just want my hip hop.
Yeah, well, like
This is why I'm sitting here. I'm sitting in the background, like Stan ATs. Anyway, Stan Stray Kids. Well, everybody's saying Stray Kids. Everybody's saying Stray Kids. I'm back in the corner, I'm like Stan ATs. In the back corner.
multi-stand
Yeah. Way hardcore over here. Yeah, no, it'll be interesting. Also, I'm a little worried too with this comeback because, like, yeah, they announced a comeback for BTS. It's like they also announced, okay, yeah, Tomorrow by Together's having a comeback too. They never announced a date. They said, oh, late May. What now? Because this is going to interfere now with Tomorrow by Together's comeback, and like, I don't want that to interfere with them because they're, the competition is just going to not look. Well, it's just like for them, it's going to be really hard for them to get music show wins and get promotion and stuff. Tomorrow by Together is like, again, one of the pillar fourth generation groups currently, again, with Stray Kids, ATs, blah, blah, but Enhypen. And like, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm really looking forward to Tomorrow by Together's comeback because this is a new era for them because they were kind of teasing it recently with this animated short that they just did. Which I highly recommend you go check it out for their AU, called The Doom Knight, and especially because I'm a D&D nerd, so it's very, very D&D-esque. So it's it's like I don't know what's gonna happen. It's very, very interesting. So I'm like, what's happening in Tomorrow by Together's comeback? So it can be very interesting over at Hype the next month. So May's gonna be very interesting over at Hype labels or Hype label, Hype Industries. I don't know what we're calling Hype, just Hype. At the Hype, I guess.
Hive mind.
At the Hive mind. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, we're getting ready for butter, I guess.
Getting ready for our muffins to be buttered. Oops. Oh, shoot.
Oh, God.
I don't know if that's appropriate to say.
That's just wrong and you know it.
My apologies.
Wow. Let's just get into this other album review.
Butter your muffin?
No. Also, you should go check out Jenni's genius / evil mind coming up with some interesting promotions in terms of BTS / Mean Girls crossover. Go check it out on our Twitter, twitter.com/Noonas_podcast. Go check it out. But let's get into this other album review before we get too carried on here. Let's get into our re-release, or I guess our repackage of the week with On and Off. Like I said, this is
like three new songs.
Yes. But because we talked about repackages a couple weeks ago with Shiny, with Atlantis, and now we have On and Off's repackage. This is their first repackage ever because they just had their first album ever with My Name Is, and so now they're back with this repackage with City of On and Off, and the title track on that one with Ugly Dance. And
which is like a good contrast with like their their last track was beautiful, and now it's like Ugly Dance.
I'm not gonna lie, I love the fact that there's so much like opposites with the 3 new songs that they threw on here. Like this is like the perfect, like you talked about how repackages are like the DLC of Kpop. Like this is the perfect like example of this because these are perfect like additions, I think, to My Name Is. These are perfect additions into that album because these just flow in super smoothly into what we originally had with that first album because they all just flow together so beautifully and they're just these perfect complements to some of the songs we got.
Yeah.
On
it's like a yin and yang type of thing. Even though there's like more 3 songs, kind of like 3 added songs, but I think it adds well into like the whole theme of like being beautiful and also like the ugly feeling as well.
Yeah. So with the title track Ugly Dance, like I mean, because they played originally because it literally starts with like them remixing the introduction to beautiful
riff,
and then it goes into this. It slows down into this kind of awesome, like bombastic, and 3 and 4, and then just this really awesome, just kind of fun, like I really like, when I first listened to it this morning, because it literally came out this morning, the morning we're recording this.
Yeah, morning. So we
And
had to like, you know, like listen to like the three songs. It was just, which was hard because I didn't like see like their official like soundtracks in their page. So that I had to like listen into more of like other channels for me to listen, and they're kind of like sound choppy, but I was able to like get the feeling of like how the new song sounded.
Okay.
But yeah, like the ugly dance, I really grooved into like the music. It also feels, you know, I think they really aced well with in like the retro sound, like the 80s like new wave like synth pop rock sound. They really you know, adapted it like into their own thing.
Yeah.
And I like how I love the feeling of, you know, like the sounds or how they produce it. You're able to like, you know, go out somewhere, like you're having like a really adventurous sound.
Yeah.
So, you know, it sounds like.
I really do like this like percussion sound they've been playing with lately, because this is very different from their previous sounds. This is definitely progression with My Name Is and City of On and Off, these last two albums of theirs. Like they're really progressing with their sound, and I really like the progression that they're going with this. I really do like where they're going forward with it, because it's really it's a really fun sound. It's very different than anything I think out there with these retro sounds, and then just kind of tying it all together with some kind of like some hip hop undertones to it. But it just has this nice freshness to it that I don't see anywhere else, really, in K-pop currently, or really anywhere else.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like it's a really fun song. Like, yeah, Ugly Dance is a really fun song. Like, I just love the whole message behind it. Just like, it's just being out there, being out there dancing stupid, just going out there and having fun. Like, that's literally the whole point of the song. It's
you can dance if you want to. You can leave your friends behind.
Yes, we can also safety dance too, apparently. It's
don't make me remix.
Don't you dare remix it. No. No. I'm gonna tell you right now, no.
Watch me.
You're so evil. But no, I really do like the fact, like, when you talked about it being like K-pop DLC, like this felt like the perfect example of K-pop DLC, because it's such a great addition between Ugly Dance, the Genesis, and the Dreamer, which are all the new additions to the album. And they all just work so well adding onto it. I really do. I recommend you listen to the Dreamer with the Realist, because those are the perfect complements to one another. I was talking about opposites. Yeah. Like, they flow into each other so well. They're so cyclical with how they add and how they begin. Like, it's that yin and yang. It's so like they're geniuses over there.
Yeah, I also feel bad because I almost feel like they're like an underappreciated name right now, because we got like other bigger names in the fourth gen, and because I really like how they're styling, how they really sound, and I wish like more music like in especially in the K-pop industry would like delve into more of that kind of production as well. Yeah, and one of my favorite tracks was actually from the new the new re-release was actually, what was it? Genesis Ubermensch. I love like the bebop jazz that they able to incorporate in there. It's as if like it's like a setting of Cowboy Bebop, but it's more youthful and lighthearted without like the more cynical overtones or like the like existential stuff. Like it's like gone. I think it's like more of like a hopeful feeling of like a sci-fi type of like concept that they're able to make.
Yeah, I just like it really kind of picked up on that whole sci-fi concept they've kind of been playing with this whole era with if you've seen the music video, obviously, for Beautiful Beautiful, and you kind of see the music video for Ugly Dance, which they kind of pick up a little bit, but it's the music video for Ugly Dance is really understated because it's just showcasing the choreography, but it's done really, really cool. I really highly recommend check it out. Also, the choreography is really cool, I think, to it too. I think it's some of their hardest choreography yet that they've done on and off. So I highly go check it out. But yeah, I really love this like kind of sci-fi like cyberpunk-esque sound feel that they've had.
Much more bright and like more happy. Happy. It's more like the dystopian feeling.
Yeah, it's not super like dystopian cyberpunk, but it's a little bit more optimistic cyberpunk, I guess. Not like Blade Runner cyberpunk or like Cyberpunk 2077. It's more a little, I can't even think of like a brighter cyberpunk. I don't think there really is a brighter cyberpunk out there. But if there was,
The Jetsons. No, kidding. The Jetsons. I don't know.
yeah, it's not really cyberpunk, but if there was, like, this would be a perfect soundtrack to it. Seriously. So yeah, I'm seriously turning. I think I've become a Fuse, which is their fandom. I really do appreciate these guys. Like, they're super, 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 super underrated. In the industry, I think. I mean, if they were the runner-ups on Road to Kingdom, they lost to the boys on Road to Kingdom. I think they kind of gained some fans with that, but they're still very underrated out there. And they really are, like, out there just making some really awesome music, and just I think they should get credit where credit's due. And they just have some really fun music out there, and I love going back into their old discography, even when they were OT7, when they had another member who left, unfortunately. But yeah, them going as a group of six right now has just been fantastic. And yeah, these are just great tracks to add on to what they previously had, and it's just a great thing. And I really do like On and Off. I really do. I'm turning into a huge Fuse. So
that's good.
So yeah,
don't go haywire on yourself on that.
I won't. I see what you did there. So, all right. Well, let's get into the last news story of the day, since we already talked about our comeback news.
Yeah, I can't believe we're gonna end it and then a downer news.
Yeah,
I kind of realized, like, oh, oops.
Yeah, I was fortunate adding a bit of a downer note this episode with this weed news. But we should talk about it because it's kind of it might impact Kingdom a little bit. So. But yeah, we talked about this a little bit, again, on our Wikipedia with BtoB, with their former member Ilhoon. If you remember, Ilhoon left the group in December of 2020 because he was being charged with possession of weed, and a lot of weed at that point. And so because of that,
what, 70 pounds or something, or
it was a lot of weed. It was just a lot of weed, and like he was smoking a lot of it, and like he's been in the military too, because he went in the military at the same time as two of the other members, because they all wanted to finish up at the same time, so they all could be together for the 10th anniversary of the group. Well, obviously it's not gonna be OT6 BtoB, but so anyway, back on the 22nd of April, he appeared in court with 7 other people, because all 8 of them got charged with this. And it was brought to court in Seoul Central District Court that in a 3-year period from July 5th, 2016 to January 9th, 2019, Ilhoon and 7 other people had bought 826 grams of weed, which equals about 1.8 pounds of weed. That cost about 130 million won, or about $116,500 in US dollars.
Dang.
And they had smoked that in about 116 times in that 3-year period, or about 2.5-year period. So if you kind of calculate that out, that's like smoking a joint like one every 5-ish days or so. People kind of have done the math.
One every 5 days?
It's about
I'm like really into not into math. So
it's about it's like a couple a week. It's like a couple joints a week, basically. So because of that, he did admit to it in court. And so, like I said, he's still serving his mandatory military service. He's working public service currently. Not sure what kind of sentence he'll face in terms of emitting, because this is a pretty substantial, like, high amount of weed he's admitting to using with these other people. Because like usually, like, obviously the weed charge is like not this much, but this is a ton of weed that the 8 of them have admitted to. So I don't know if it's like fine, if it's jail time, like what he's going to face. I mean, at this point, his idol career is probably over, unfortunately. I don't know if he'll be able to come back even as a producer. Like, I don't know, we can do like, because even like Western, like
into the entertainment industry, most of mostly.
Yeah, because even like Western like Future people are like, wow, dude, that's a lot of weed. It's like
I'm just wondering, since I know like in some states or in some some countries, like weed is illegal, but like. how do you compare like that amount of weed into like some like states? Like, is that still, you know, like a very,
I mean, you have to, like I said, because people are trying to like, because people like, I was like reading people's opinions about it on like Reddit and stuff too, like other people's opinions,
yeah,
like, because people are like, because I mean, see, Korea is really, really strict about weed, because weed's like a big, like, no, it's super, super illegal in Korea.
yeah,
Obviously, we're a little more lax about weed here in like the United States. Obviously, it's a little more lax in Canada. Depending where in the United States, like where I live in the United States, weed's still hella illegal. If I go south to like Chicago, I could technically smoke it in Chicago because it's legal, but not that I do, but I could. But I mean, it's like, I mean, people were doing that. Like, again, it wasn't just him having all this weed. It was him splitting up with like 7 other people, all this weed. But the fact that he was a habitual user of it, and, you know, just the amount of times and the amount of money and just like period and stuff, it's just the fact that he's using it habitually kind of, I think, is what is turning people off about it. It's not like he got caught once with a joint or something. The fact he's a habitual user, but it's like some people, you know, I mean, and I don't want to put words in his mouth or put words in anybody's mouth, but, you know, some people, like, I mean, use it just for stress, you know, de-stressing and stuff too. And I mean, weed's proven to be very, it's been, I mean, weed is still a drug. Yes, we know that weed is a drug.
yeah,
But I mean, alcohol is a drug. Well, alcohol is a depressant.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and alcohol is the worst thing in Korea. Like, I mean, it's been known alcohol is like a huge, 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 huge deal in Korea. There's always DUIs and stuff everywhere in Korea all the time with that. So even here in the States, but or even sure in even Canada too, alcohol is a huge bane on society, but we still drink. It's just, you know, it's just a lot of interesting like back and forth on it. But like from what I've been hearing too is like from the other members, because they were still supporting him when he got let go of the group. Like they were still going like OT7 BtoB, and now they're facing backlash because he admitted to the whole weed thing. So they're like, oh, so people are now like mad at them because they were supporting him because he's a habitual weed user, and so now how that's that going to look on them as they're competing on Kingdom. And so it's going to be very, very interesting to see what's going to happen, because now we're finishing up round 2 of competition. So we literally start voting tomorrow. Again, tomorrow being Thursday after we record here, for this week for voting for Kingdom. So I don't know how that's going to affect that.
Yeah. The thing is, like, do the rest of BtoB know about his activities?
Right. And it sounded like they didn't, because I think he was doing it outside of the company, obviously. I mean, if he was doing once every 5 days, I'm sure he could got away with it. And it sounded like he was hiding it through, they were hiding it through cryptocurrency. Like they were purchasing it through cryptocurrency. So they were trying to be very, very sneaky, trying to hide it, but they still got caught, because I mean they were able to catch him being able to smoke it because they found it in his hair follicles and stuff, because it sticks in your hair follicles. So they had a ton of proof that he smoked weed. He smoked a lot of weed, and well, he admitted to it. So I guess he figured might as well admit to it. They probably got a lesser charge on it, or lesser sentence, I think.
Yeah, that's what I think that's why he wanted to like admit, you know, he was guilty. If he didn't, that would have been like,
that probably would have looked worse. Yeah. Especially for the amount of weed and how long and everything too, I'm assuming. So, but I mean, yeah, it's a big mess, obviously. And it sucks because like, I've really been getting into BtoB as well too. Like, I'm not gonna, no lie on the show. Like I've really started becoming a Melody. There's just all really like the 4 of them who are on the show right now. Inhook, Chang Sub, Minhook, and Inquan and Penya, like all 4 of them have been just like hilarious and awesome and just like total crackheads. And like if you go watch any of their old content, like all 7 of them are freaking crackheads. And
and even in Kingdom too, like they're doing pretty well being different from like a lot of the groups, since they're more like the hard hitting, like really upbeat, like tempo, like fast tempo, performance as well. There's provide a more like the unique side
Yeah.
into like their performance, right? Because I think we need more like more of that kind of like presentation.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate like how they're doing it.
Yeah, I do too. And they just also have this, but they're just very relaxed, kind of chill vibe to them too. Like they're just super like relaxed and just kind of like they're like honestly like they're like really cool dudes I really want to go hang out with. Honestly, they really are. All four of them right now who are for BtoB for you because the subunit currently competing. But yeah, I mean, it's just this whole weed thing really really sucks. But
yeah,
I mean,
we have like a lot of opinions as well. Since like the internationals, like they have their own opinions, but at the same time, you gotta like look into like like Korean standards as well, and how it sucks that it's still illegal, and how but like the amount that he's been like indulging as well. Like wow, okay, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot, and he's used it for quite a long time. Like he's been using it pretty much up until almost military time. Up until he almost enlisted.
Wow.
So yeah, like it's quite a bit. So like I said, his idol career is probably over at this point. His entertainment career is probably over. I don't know if he can get back into producing at all post this. Maybe, possibly. I hope so because I think he's a pretty good producer. But we'll see what happens.
There'll be a shame. That'll be a shame because it's kind of like a waste of like talent as well.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, obviously, I mean, it just sucks because like members of Big Bang have had like weed charges, but again, they haven't had this much weed attached to their names. So that's kind of where like we're seeing the differences. So.
Yeah, Big Bang like we're reading the news like god damn.
Well, because both G Dragon and TOP had like weed charges on them, but like again, it wasn't like this much weed. So, and they obviously, it's Big Bang,
I guess.
So yeah, I mean, again, we need to do Wikipedia and Big Bang, I think one day eventually. But. That's I don't know what else to talk about with Ilhoon. I mean, unfortunately, like I said, I think he messed up.
Yeah, it could be like an insightful bit of news that people would be interested in, as well as seeing like the different standards of like different like stuff, like how Korean Korea function in terms of like their laws. So
I mean, like I said, just unfortunately, it just sucks with again, just we being super, super strict in Korea, like they're super, super hardcore and like no weed, just no weed at all. But again, the drinking culture over there is just super, super strong. So it's just kind of this weird, like, different, like it's definitely way different, obviously, over here in the Western world. But it's something we have to keep an eye. We have to remember and like have to understand as international fans. And I think a lot of international fans forget that.
You're right.
When they talk about it, and it's like you almost have to remember that because again, we're international. We're looking at it in a different light. We're not around that culture all the time, and with that,
exactly.
You have to remember that. We just can't remember because we live here. It's how it is. It's like no, it's
more like
different. So we got to take it with that grain of salt. So, but yeah, I don't know what else to say.
But you guys can find me. No, I'm kidding.
I know, right? I'm like, I don't know how else to like keep going on because we.
Anyways, so
but at least I mean, I'm hoping like I hope it doesn't hurt BtoB's chances on Kingdom. Like I said, in terms of the other members and stuff with like voting and stuff. But we'll see. I mean, they've been okay.
Don't fit like the rest of the group just because of one person's action.
Right, exactly. And because like I said, I just hope it doesn't hurt the other members because there's one former member's actions. And because they've been doing okay in terms of like the global voting, considering all the drama with that. As Jenni was privy to that as we started talking on Sunday with some of my other friends, especially with what happened with ATs. Oh God. Yeah. Oof. I am still pissed about that. Anyway, we'll talk about that next week. Because they still haven't announced who the hell has won round one of Kingdom because arbitrary math. I don't know. So
a lot of rules and like a lot of like categories that they go by.
It's a bunch of bullshit, I find. So should we just, I don't know. I'm not snaky. This is the whole thing. I'm not as snaky as hell. Anyway,
This podcast is all a bunch of bullshit.
so should we just plug our stuff? I don't know what else to say.
Yes, we shall.
All
So
right.
you can find me on Facebook. Find me on Facebook at Jenni Leano. So that's GINNYLEANO. Or you can also visit my design page at Jenni Leano Designs, or on my Instagram design page at Jenni Designs. Yeah, and hopefully you'll be able to find all my other links to my personal pages and other things. So, and back to you, Jenni.
And you can find me, Jenni. You can find me over on Facebook, facebook.com/Jenni Matasek, JenniMatasek. You can also find me over on Instagram and on Twitter at Chaos Bulldog. You can also find the show pages over on Twitter and on Instagram as well at Noonas_podcast. Don't forget the underscore. All of our Spotify playlists and SoundCloud links for our show are also located in the bios of those pages. Make sure to check them out. Obviously, no SoundCloud or no Spotify playlist this week, but do go check out the albums this week over on Spotify because I think they're both really, really good albums. So go check them out. Also, go check out the Facebook the Facebook video version of the show over on Facebook with the Metropolis Collective. Thanks again, guys, for hosting our show over there on the Metropolis. We very much appreciate it. This has been the Noonas podcast for this week. Next week, I think we might have a special guest on next week because we have a fan.
Hopefully this person will make it.
Hopefully, because we have a friend who's a very, very big Mitzi. And Itzy's new album comes out on Friday. So look forward to that, as well as
I did not see the third trailer because I knew they're going to be spoiling the chorus because, JYP.
I did not. I'm going to avoid it because I don't want to get spoiled. So I'm going to avoid that trailer.
Yeah.
Like heaven above, so I don't get spoiled. So I can watch it fresh on Friday. I've only seen the first two, thank God, because those released are not super spoilerly.
That's perfect teasers, and then third trailer.
You're like, turn off.
I didn't hear what it sounded
like. I heard nothing. And then obviously next week we're going to wrap up round 2 of Kingdom with the switcheroo round with everyone covering groups. Like I said, I have thoughts on next week's show with some of these covers, so look forward to that. I think we might have to put a poll out and see if people want to vote on their favorite covers this week. So I'm gonna have to do that this week before for next week's episode. So we might do that. Check out our Instagram and our Twitter for that. We're on Facebook, but yeah, this is, like I said, this has been the News Podcast, and I guess we'll be out with a resounding fighting.